Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Perkins, a board certified OBGYN, and today we're talking about, can having your tubes tied cause hormone imbalance? By the end of this video, we will review your anatomy and where hormones are produced so we understand exactly where they come from, learn about what happens when your tubes are tied. How does that distort your anatomy? How does that change your pelvic GYN system? And we will talk about the link between tying your tubes and having hormone imbalance. So let's jump into it. As we dive into this topic today, let's start by talking about Anatomy 101. Love to start there because that way I know that you're following along with me and you understand all the little intricate details that I'll mention. So this is IV, and IV is a representative of your internal GYN system. So where her beautiful smile is, this is the uterus, and the uterus has a lower portion called the cervix, and so this part hangs into the vagina. On the upper side, we have two fallopian tubes. At the end of the fallopian tube, they're really separate organs, but there are these fuzzy little fingers at the end of the fallopian tubes. They're very, very important, and they're very close to the ovaries. The reason why they're there is that when your ovaries release an egg through ovulation, these tiny little fingers, fluffy things, they literally grab the egg and will hold it and move the egg alongside your fallopian tube. And so you have two ovaries, two fallopian tubes, and one uterus with a cervix. Why do we have these organs? What are their purposes and why do we need them? Your cervix serves as the point of closure between the uterus and the vagina. This is the area that dilates to have a baby. So this tiny little cervix here will open up very wide to release and to remove and to help to expose the baby from the uterus into the vagina and into the outside world. And then it closes right back up pretty tightly and will remain like that until the next pregnancy, if there is one. Outside of that, the cervix is really important for having two things to pass through it. One, blood when you're having a period, and two, sperm when we're working on fertility or just in general with sexual activity. And so the cervix is like a channel, it's a gateway, it's a passageway, which is really, really important to enter our inside system. Inside of the uterus has two purposes. One, to create periods, and two, to house a pregnancy until it's time for that baby to leave the body when it's matured and ready. Our fallopian tubes do really one job. They are the bridge between the uterus and the ovaries, but it's the place where egg and sperm meets. This is where fertilization happens. Literally, it is a bridge. It's an open tube. And so sperm travels through the cervix, through the uterus, through the fallopian tube, and will meet egg right here. The egg leaves the ovary, goes into the tube, as I mentioned earlier, and will meet with the sperm in that area. Once the two have combined together, fertilization is confirmed. They travel together as a union, and then they move towards the uterus and establish pregnancy right here. And this is where the baby continues to grow and grow and grow, develop until the time of birth. The ovaries have several different functions. Our ovaries, they are very, very important. They house all the eggs that you'll ever have for a lifetime. They mature an egg at a time, release it through ovulation, and as it does this, it is also producing the hormones that are important to who you are as a female, creating and having breasts, having hair growth, such as your armpit hair, your pubic hair. These are all due to the ovaries and the hormones that they're producing. As we go through menopause and that transition, the ovaries will shrink once all the eggs that we've been born with are depleted and gone. And so at that point, your ovaries will no longer produce hormones, not in the same degree as it was when you were fertile. And so with that, they shrink and your hormone levels drop, your hormonal imbalances may really present themselves, and it remains like that for the rest of your life. That's Anatomy 101. Now, how does that tie into our conversation today? How does tying your tubes impact hormonal imbalance? And I'm going to tell you, before that though, let's show you what a tubal ligation, salpingectomy, or tying your tubes, they're all the the same term for the same concept, how that's changed over time, and what this may mean for you today. The fallopian tube here, remember, the purpose is to help sperm and egg to meet. And so when we would say we're going to tie our tubes, usually in the past, that meant that we would cut a portion off your fallopian tube surgically and remove the intersection, which is where egg and sperm would meet. And so we would put a little suture and we'll tie the ends that are remaining on the inside, which is kind of sort of where people got the term tying your tubes from. So we'd tie, remove, and tie each end. And the tie is there really to stop bleeding, because when you cut anything in the body, bleeding will happen. So literally it would be a knot stopping the bleeding that's happening or could potentially happen there. But after the procedure is done, you would have a very small portion of fallopian tube left here, a very small portion here, but the midsection, imagine that completely gone. So on this side, it would be shortened, something like that. And so with that, some people would come back to the doctors 5-10 years later and say, hey, can you reverse my tubes? Can you put my tubes back together? I would like to have another child. And so we would put the two ends together, literally, and it would be a shortened tube, but a tube that may work well, and you can ovulate, have egg and sperm meet, and actually get pregnant. More recently, we've decided to not do that anymore, to not remove a portion of your tubes. We've now started to remove the tubes altogether. So now if you go to the doctors and you say, hey, I would like permanent sterilization, please remove my tubes or tie my tubes, we're now taking them out altogether. Once those tubes are gone, there are no tubes left. And so there's no reversal. This is 100% permanent sterilization. Now, if you did that, do your hormones change, fluctuate? Are they impacted by the removal of your tubes or the tying of your tubes? The answer is no. The reason is the purpose of your fallopian tubes really is just for egg and sperm to meet. They do not produce hormones. Which organ produces hormones in this system here? You got it. The ovaries. So when you tie your tubes or remove them, your ovaries are still left inside, functioning, working, doing their job, producing your hormones just the same. And so you should not expect to have any hormonal imbalances just from tying your tubes, because that's not the job of your fallopian tubes. What we do know is that if you do remove your ovaries, you have two, so you can remove one and your body can actually really function completely normally. But if you remove both of your ovaries prior to going through menopause, you may have a hormonal imbalance. We know that if your thyroid system is just not functioning up to par, you may have hormonal imbalance. We know that if you are obese and you have excessive fat cells, you may have hormonal imbalance. We know that so many other systems, stress that increases your cortisol levels. I mean, I can go on and on and on about the different conditions that may lead to hormonal imbalance. And what I can tell you as well is that you don't have to worry about your fallopian tubes being one of those causes. Fallopian tubes are there for one function, egg and sperm to meet together. And so if you want the permanency of this procedure and you're 100% sure that you will not ever want to carry a child again, you do not want to ever have a biological child, then removing them should leave your hormones intact, exactly the way they were before the procedure when the procedure is done. I hope this makes sense. Listen, I want to dive into this a little bit deeper with you, and I want to do this by sending you a free copy of my ebook, Hormones Don't Lie, and we'll talk about these things and more. And so if you'd like to get a copy, go ahead and click that link below. I'll send that over to you, and we'll have more discussions just like these. Also, if this resonates with you, or if you have further questions or comments, go ahead and drop it below. I'd love to see it. I'd love to read it, and our community here would love to learn from you as well. Thanks again for being here, and I hope to see you in the next video.